When you're in high school, you're at the point when you want to make your own money and decisions. Making money will allow you to buy the things you want, feel responsible, and definitely make you feel as though you're becoming a grown-up. Most teenagers are able to start working by the age of 16. This is where they're becoming independent and not counting on their parents for certain things. They're in the process of preparing themselves for their future, such as choosing what they want to do when they graduate and what career path they may choose. We can all remember how much we wanted to do on our own when we were 16. We decided to explore the idea of 16-year-olds being allowed to vote. Throughout this speech, I'll be expressing why the voting age should be lowered to 16. One great reason that we felt would be helpful to convince someone that 16-year-olds should be able to vote is from a voting poll found on debatewise.org. One voter who was in favor of 16-year-olds voting was quoted in saying, "If a 16-year-old can join the armed forces, then the right to vote should be allowed." This is a valid reason to allow 16-year-olds to vote. They may go to the Army and never have the opportunity to vote. If they're prepared for the Army, then they should be able to be prepared for voting. If they're grown enough to be willing to die for our country, then why not have a say in who is running our country? Now we'll speak on another valid reason to allow 16-year-olds to vote. We think that they should be allowed to vote because at this age, they're able to work. And if they start working at this age, they'll be paying taxes. These taxes are what helps run our government and support our Social Security and Medicare systems. So if they are paying taxes, should they not be allowed to vote? Also, another thing they are allowed to do is drive at 16. I really enjoyed reading. If they think they're responsible to drive, then they ought to be responsible enough to participate in driving the nation. That's from the Daily Gleaner in 2010. Driving a car is dangerous. A teenager must be responsible enough to handle a vehicle on the wheel. If society deems 16-year-olds responsible enough to operate a potential weapon on wheels, then they should be able to vote. Despite the bad rap our youth get because of things like taste in music, clothing, general lack of interest on what's going on around them, our teenagers do care. I work with several younger kids at Dillon's, and they have so much to offer our society. Not only do they work and pay taxes, as we all previously stated, they also have an understanding of the way governments work, thanks to our schools. My kids at work have a lot to say about what's happening in our country. They have a voice and they want it to be heard. If we allow 16-year-olds and up to vote, we're showing them that we really care what they have to say. According to the National Youth Council of Ireland, allowing youth to vote would create excitement in the younger generations and build a strong bond earlier with the upcoming generation and the political parties. If they know their voice can be heard, 16-year-olds can be more engaged and more aware of politics that are in our country. With a chance to express themselves, we are sure to see a change for the better in our society. At this point, we have nothing to lose with allowing our youth to vote. In conclusion, although we strongly recommend that the voting age should be lowered to 16, due to 16-year-olds being able to work, drive, and go into the military, we must also take into consideration those 16-year-olds who may not be at that point. So our suggestion is that if 16-year-olds have a job or are in the military, then they have the right to vote. This shows that they're mature enough to make the voting decision for their country. It can also motivate them to be more involved with researching the candidates involved in the voting poll at the time, which can ultimately make a better student along their road to success. Thanks.